Hi, this is Stephanie. I'm the designer of the Scalloped Rib Sock, which is a knit-along happening right now in the Ba Yarn group on Ravelry. And this video is a little bit of a supplement to the pattern to help explain the kind of tricky process of the middle of the sock when you're about ready to begin the gusset shaping. So when you made your heel flap, this is kind of what your pattern should look like. There should be 2 purls and the pattern stitch and 2 purls over here. So that's your heel flap right there. And I know that technically the pattern stitch is 2 purls and then the knit rib section. So these little 2 purls over here at the end are kind of extraneous, but it'll make sense in a minute. Just trust me on this one. So you did your heel flap, and you turned your heel, and you picked up your stitches of your gusset, and you're about ready to go, and you see that big old note in bold that says important. Before you begin the gusset shaping, take the last picked up stitch from needle 1 and the first picked up stitch from needle 4 and move them onto the needles with the instep stitches, which are needles 2 and 3. As you can see, I'm working on 3 needles. I'm kind of weird. I don't like to have a whole lot of needles in the mix, so I'm going to make that adjustment. It's just the first and the last needle that you have to move the gusset stitch onto the needle, this one that contains your instep stitches. So before we do that, let's look and see what our instep stitches consist of. As you can see, it is a straight up rib panel here, no purl. 2 purls, rib panel, 2 purls, rib panel, 2 purls, rib panel, and that's it. Oops, sorry, got a little blurry there. Sorry, my cat really wants to be fed. Tilly, it's not time. Goodbye. It just wouldn't be a video if she didn't try and video bomb it. So anyway, moving on. Now we just have to move those little stitches from the picked up gusset stitches. So I'm going to use my free needle to do that, otherwise it gets a little wonky, because they can get a little tight. So I've got that one free now. I'm just going to slide it over here. So that stitch that we just moved is going to be worked as a purl from now on. So I'll explain that more in a minute. So it'll be purl, knit through the pattern stitch as established, which is another little tricky statement that we designers often use so that we don't have to do a long explanation, because this video is already kind of a long explanation, isn't it? Imagine coming across that in your pattern. It would make it a lot longer. Okay, so I got the other one on there, so that will also be worked as a purl stitch. Okie dokie. So now what do we have? Well, we'll be working 2 rounds even in the established pattern. Again, that is the code that we use so that you know that when you're looking at this, okay, that first stitch is a purl, which is explained in the next line as follows. Purl 1, work in pattern stitch. Okay, that actually means pattern stitch is established. So you don't have to work these first 2 stitches as a purl. You just look at your work below and go from there. Someone always told me knit the knits and purl the purls. I mean, obviously that doesn't work for every stitch pattern, but in this case, yes. So if you see a rib panel, you're going to be knitting that and following the pattern as written. So that means you are going to have to skip the first purl in the actual chart as written, and that's just something you're supposed to magically know when you see work in established pattern. So I apologize if that's confusing to people. So then you'll just work across, and then when you run out of the pattern stitch, you've just got that one lonely stitch there. All you got to do is purl that. So the reason I did that is because I'm a little OCD and I just liked the way it looked. I just wanted to have those 2 purls offsetting the pattern stitch on the top of the instep, and then that way on the back, as you can see, that just looked nicer to me. It was just a design choice, and apparently I just wanted to confuse people. No, I'm just kidding. So hopefully that clears up any confusion and you are ready to get back on track and get those gussets knit this week and finish your first scalloped rib sock. So if you have any more questions, I'm Stephanie Gurr, that's with 3 R's on Ravelry, And I'm also checking the thread in the Ball Yarn Knitters group, so if you just go over there and look for the Scallop Rib Knit Along chat thread, that's where you can post your questions. Thanks.